Hello and welcome to what we all hope will be next year's Arena of Global Dreams. We're in Tokyo's Olympic Stadium for the latest edition of the World Athletics Continental Tour Gold meetings. Originally scheduled for late spring, this gathering of some of Japan's finest athletes is the most recent indication yet that the JAAF guidance for restarting athletics activities program is working well, as the nation's best prospects of home glory in 2021 continue rebuilding their COVID-interrupted season. Very warm, 29 degrees. We have reports of potential huge thunderstorms, but thankfully, touch wood, not scheduled until later on. Fabulous lineup for the men's 100 meters, featuring 5 of the fastest Asian men in history. Could potentially see a national record for Japan in the women's 1500 meters. Nozomi Tanaki, she's been going well over the 3000. 2 good fields in the sprint hurdles for women and men. And after our 3 heats of the men's 100, we'll round off our live program in Tokyo with the final of the men's 100 meters. Very good lineup for the long jump. Mike Powell with that world record. Seems like a lifetime ago now. Well, Japan have a fine tradition when it comes to the long jump. Hashioka, arguably one of the favourites. He'll be the last to be introduced. This is Ryotaro Tanaka, just 18 years of age. PB 752, that was last year in Osaka. Kogi Fujihara, national record holder at youth and junior level. He's a 14.31 110 hurdler as well. Daiki Oda, World Youth Medley bronze, way back in 2013. Kota Minamura, 4th in the Asian Indoor Championships a few years ago. Natsuki Yamakawa, he jumped 760 in Auckland in February. Ibiki Stewart went out in the qualifying the World Youth and World Junior. Shirayama, national record holder, World Junior bronze back in 2014. And there's Yuki Hashioka. Father and mother, very, very good athletes. So we'll keep you posted on that one as it unfolds. Now to the first of 3 heats in the men's 100 meters. First 2. Plus 2 next quickest qualifiers. We're not allowed to say fastest losers anymore, but if you're watching and you're familiar with athletics, you'll know exactly what I mean. Just great to be talking about world-class athletics again, especially in this stadium. There's the heat for the opener. Just a degree inside 30 Celsius. Higashida on the left there, wearing 4. 3rd in the University Championships 2 years ago. There he is. He's also a 20.8 man for the 200 meters. There are the Dream Lane athletes. These are the high school students. The All Japan High School Sport Games were cancelled, so a group of top-level athletes decided that they would give the best of the next generation an opportunity to come and rub shoulders with their more decorated compatriots. So we'll have, as I mentioned, the first 2 plus 2 next fastest qualifiers, and because we're using all 9 lanes, we'll also have the quickest Dream Lane athlete advancing to the final by way of a wild card. A very proud mum in the stands. Very few people here in the stadium for all the obvious reasons. Nervous moments, not only for the athletes, but for their mothers as well. So, full lineup of 9. Koga Sugihura, he's only 17 years old. Pretty quick though, 10.75. Next to him, Izawa. 21.25 over the 200 meters. This will be a tough couple of minutes for him. Sotomiwa, 10.44. Now the older athletes. Akihiro Higashida, third in the University Championships. Shuhei Tada, a very quick starter. 2 World Championship bronze medals in the 4x1. Ryota Yamagata, 12 times he's run inside 10.10. He's been out for 15 months though. Misukubo, he's in form, 10.27 at the start of this season. Nagata in lane 8. Medley relay bronze in the World Youth back in 2013. And Hiroaki Yabashi, 10.40 into a headwind last year. Small, powerful looking man. So, first of 3 heats in the men's 100 meters. Quickest guys will be coming back. There are the trio of Dream Lane athletes. The high school runners added to this world-class field. Watch for Tada, who gets out like a rocket. There he is with the number 5 on his thigh. And outside him, Yamagata. He's been out for a very, very long time, hoping to make smooth passage through to the final, which will be the climax of our program here in Tokyo. And indeed, Tada has got away well. Lovely running there by Izawa, the high school athlete, second from the right-hand side. Tada just about hanging on. Also, Higashida coming through on his inside, who was third in the University Champs in 2018. Just waiting for the clock to give us the official time. Unofficially, looks like it's 10.39. Izawa ran really well in lane 2. Watching out for his PB. There he is, second from the right-hand side. Got a lovely start, and that's saying something with Tada a few lanes outside him. Tada just began to come under pressure. Pretty level with Akihiro Higashida alongside him. Still waiting for the official times to be confirmed. But a nice mix of the next generation of Japan's finest with the current crop of talent. And they've got such a well-drilled relay team. Always there or thereabouts when it comes to the global medals. Well, we better get used to seeing marshals and officials with the face guards. Sign of things to come. It looked like the time there was just a shade inside 10.4, but we'll wrap that up as soon as we possibly can. Shirayama, national record holder, 25 years of age. World Junior bronze back in 2014. Asian Championship bronze 3 years ago. He is a real talent. 8:40 last year. Slow-ish start to this season for Shirayama. 7:90 in Osaka. Can't believe the Osaka World Championships was 13 years ago now. So an unspectacular start for a very talented man, but it's been such a strange season for all these athletes. After all, if we had been following the calendar as was intended, we would already be heading towards the back end of the season, post-Olympic Games. Here's hoping we're all back in less than 12 months' time. 7:51, he's capable of a lot more. He's in second place in the early stages. Hashioka, 8th in the World Championships last year. World Junior Champion, Asian Champion. Indoor PB of 8:02 in Madrid in February. Comes from a fantastic line of Japanese athletes. His dad is a 7-time national pole vault champion. His mum was a fine sprint hurdler and long jumper. Big star, this young man. 4 years younger than Shirayama. Taking a long time here in the build-up to his opening jump. 8:32 is PB last year. Yeah, that looks better, doesn't it? Shirayama was around about 7:51. We've had some good Japanese jumpers through the years. And Yuki Hashioka is the latest of them. Pretty close to the 8-meter line. Miles to spare on the board. A few adjustments required to that run-up. 7.96, that's a solid start. For many of these athletes, it is their first race of the season. Higashida taking that one, dead level with Tada. Yamagata coming through for third. Izawa rewarded with a personal best. Second heat then of the men's 100 meters. Remember, it's only the first two guaranteed to be returning for the final later on this afternoon. Yuki Koike, the main man to watch here. He goes in lane 5. Once again, we've got 3 of our Dream Lane athletes. Fujiwara there. Big boy for 17. On the outside, Matsuo. Taka on the right. Fujiwara in 2. Tiny figure, the 18-year-old in lane 1. 10.43 last year. So much excitement in Tokyo and across Japan ahead of the Olympic Games. The Osaka World Championships was so well supported in 2007. They cannot wait for all the drama to unfold here in less than 12 months' time. Fingers crossed. So, 10.38 in the first. Just warming up these guys. That's Hiroto Fujiwara. Only 17, but watch out for Koike in lane 5 with the distinctive vest.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with our men's 100-meter race. So heat 2. Let's go ahead and introduce our athletes.
So Shui Taka, the 18-year-old, he's the first of our 3 Dream Lane athletes, the high school runners, given an opportunity to compete here in the Seiko Golden Grand Prix 2020 Tokyo. Hiroto Fujiwara, 10.6. PB just 500ths quicker. Kosuke Kawata, he's in good form recently, actually. If he can get close to that PB, he may well have a chance. Tayuka Kawakami, World Junior silver medalist in the 4x1 back in 2014. Yuki Koike, Asian Games gold medalist 2 years ago. Indoor PB in Boston earlier this year. Daisuke Miyamoto, World Youth and World Junior finalist 2015 and 18. Kimihiko Okuba. It's his birthday today, semi-finals in the national champs last year. Iwasaki, national indoor silver medalist, over 60. Looks built for the indoors, doesn't he? And Ryugo Matsuo, 10.36. That time set last year. Virtual crowds, we'll all have to get used to that for the next few months, you suspect. So, Yuki Koike. There's the middle of the three Dream Lane athletes. First 2+2. Some anxious supporting relatives. Koike goes in lane 5. Looking forward to seeing how he goes. Third man in Japan to break the 10-second barrier. Right in the middle of your picture in lane 5. First 2 coming back for the final. Well, let's see how Koike goes in the early stages. He's being put under a little bit of pressure by Kawakami on his outside. And second from the outside, Iwasaki. Iwasaki taking that one. The indoor specialist. Lovely run there. Yuki Koike given a little bit to think about ahead of the final. He's 21.10 over the 200 meters. That was a good run. He's had a windy 10.35 outdoors. Second from the left. Got away well. Initially, there was a good start from Kawakami just towards lane 4. But this was a lovely run from Iwasaki. Came through with daylight to spare. Koike was easing up towards the line. But those eyes drifting over towards his right-hand side because he was aware of how well Iwasaki was running over in lane 8. Just to mark your card, a fascinating women's 1500 meters coming up shortly. Very, very good field. A brilliant young Japanese runner hoping to add the 1500 meter national record to her 3000 meter national record set just last month. Natsuki Yamakawa jumped 760 in Auckland in February. 8:06 man at his best. Looks around about, what, 775-ish? Didn't like it. Asian Indoor Championship finalist. He's got the bouncing chain, reminiscent of Fabrice Lapierre, the fantastic Australian male long jumper. .762. Well, there's a bit to do for Yamakawa if he's to close in on the lead. Now, second attempt for Shirayama, the national record holder, World Junior bronze medalist, Asian Championship bronze medalist. A little lackluster with his first round effort of 7:51. .840 last year. Yet to go over 8 meters this season. Very few performances registered for quite a few of these athletes, unless from those lucky enough to have travelled across to Australia or New Zealand in the spring. No, he's just finding it difficult to settle here. .25-year-old. Latest in a long line of excellent jumpers. So he stays in 4th at the moment. Hashioka then. 8th in the World Championships last year in Doha. October feels like a lifetime ago now. What a talent this young man is. Mum and dad, good athletes. Cousin, a professional footballer. Still only 21. Just trying to get himself primed, pumped and focused here with no one in the stands. Well, I say no one, just a smattering here and there. Hashioka then, second round. See if he can launch out to 8 meters. Oh, that looks better. Oh, he got the red flag. Just wait to see how far over he was with that one. He was comfortably north of the 8 meter line. He's just going over to make absolutely sure. Yeah. Yeah, what was that? Maybe 4 or 5 centimeters. So he knows there's 8 meters in the locker here this afternoon. Just gone 3 o'clock local time. Confirmation of the results from that second heat. Iwasaki ran well, didn't he? 10.34. Koika's safely through 10.39. Miyamoto will have to wait and see. So to our third and final heat of the men's 100 meters. We have gathered, by the way, 5 of the fastest Asian sprinters in history. Watch for Cambridge in 4 and Kurui in 5. The 2 star men in this one. Shoulder to shoulder in the middle of the field. Three Dream Lane athletes. That's Yanagita, very good long jumper as well, actually. 7:48, 10.42. All 3 of our high school athletes still just 17 years of age in lanes 1, 2, and 3. Yoshide Kurui, 10.04. He's in good form this year. World Junior bronze medalist 6 years ago. Relay silver in Rio, bronze in London and Doha. He says his focus today is on winning, not so much on the time. But with 10.04 in his locker and a 10.12 in the heats of that event just a few weeks ago, we know he's in good shape. First Japanese man to break 10 seconds. Very useful footballer as well. So the 3 high school runners in 1, 2, and 3. Goto, Inui, Yanagita. Goto, 10.62, season's best. There we go. Inui there. 10.48, and that time achieved this season. So watch for him in the pink. He'll be second from the right-hand side. Yanagita, he's the 7:48 long jumper. Looks like he's determined to enjoy the experience. Asuka Cambridge says he could well be in PB shape. Relay silver anchored the Japanese to that medal in Rio. There's Kurui, the World Junior bronze medalist who's desperate to win here. Tatsuro Miyagi, 22 years of age. Season's best 10.37. Bruno Dede, World University gold last year and ran in the semis individually. Seiya Kusano ran in Houston indoors at the end of Feb, 6.85 over the 60. And Ippel Takeda, World Junior silver medalist in the relay 4 years ago, Asian Junior silver in the same year. But as far as the battle for Japanese pride is concerned, watch for Cambridge in 4, Kurui in lane 5. There are the 2 men. 10.08 Cambridge, he's on the right of your picture. And these are the three high school athletes in 1, 2 and 3. Cambridge is in good form in 4. He'll hope to put Kurui outside him under some pressure. First 2 guaranteed a place in our final, coming up in just over an hour's time. Cambridge 4th from the right-hand side, but it's an excellent start from Kurui, and Cambridge now beginning to come through. These two pulling away from the rest of the field. Kurui from Cambridge, very impressive. Look at that, 10.10. There was more where that came from. By far and away, the most impressive of the 3 heats. A little bit of posturing going on between the 2 men. Well, that was class, wasn't it? I wonder how close we could see these guys going to 10 seconds flat. Rounded down to 10.09. Good start from Cambridge. 4th from the right-hand side with that green striped vest. Kurui, though, a very compact technique, holding form, glancing over. Good run on the near side in lane 9 from Takeda as well. But this looked pretty relaxed for 10.09. Wearing number 1. Well, he's laid down his marker ahead of the final. That was class. First man from Japan to break 10 seconds. And with that kind of relaxed performance on 10.09, you can see why. He liked it. So did we. Women just going through their warm-ups for the javelin. Looks a cracking stadium. Can't wait to see this with faces on every seat. Here's hoping. Well, that really was a fantastic men's 100 metres. Kurui there, 10.09. Put a little bit of a buzz around this stadium, I do believe. Kota Minimura. He's jumped a windy 8.08. So unlucky, plus 2.1. I always feel sorry for athletes if they just miss out on an official PB. Lovely high knee lift. Official personal best, 7.95. National champion a few years ago. Lovely fluid running action. Leant back a long way. Take off. Just brushing himself off there. 7.45, well, it's a consistent series, isn't it? But he's outside the top 3 at the moment. Natsuki Yamakawa, slight improvement with the second round. He's gone over 8 meters. That was a couple of years ago. One of a handful of lucky Japanese athletes to have competed outside home shores. Went to Auckland in February. Let's see if he can start tickling towards the 8-meter line. No. Such a difficult year for these athletes with so little competition, either nationally or internationally. And no improvement with that third round foul. However, around the world, we have seen on the odd occasion, or the first occasion, where decent groups of high-quality national and international athletes have been able to get together. We've seen some interesting performances. Fewer opportunities to compete, meaning everybody is desperate to make the most of those chances. Well, we're rattling through the programme. Can't believe where the first half an hour has already gone. It's been such a long time. since we've had world-class athletics. Just absolutely superb. Hibiki Shua, 10.47 over the 100 meters. That was a while ago. He's competed at the World Youth and the World Juniors. One of the best on paper here, PB of 8.23. Well, like one or two of these long jumpers, just struggling to settle in the middle part of the competition. Shutaru Shirayama. National record holder. He's a long way down on his 8.40 shape. Can he begin to challenge for the lead here? Quite a long way down on his best. Strange situation for these athletes, especially the big-time performers like Shirayama. Used to performing in front of tens of thousands in these events. Just a handful of photographers and relatives here in the Japan National Stadium in Tokyo. Using a fair portion of his allocated time here. Underway at last with 14 seconds to go. No, he's having a very difficult day here in these sticky conditions. I mentioned earlier we were slightly concerned at one stage we might lose this event to torrential thunderstorms. That rain is still due, but not until later today, thankfully. Not going well at the moment for Shirayama. He's still outside the top three. How good was that from Kurui? 10.09. Cambridge ran well for 10.11. Two personal bests for Takeda and Yanagita. Kurui will be the favourite for that one. Now, very much looking forward to this women's 1500 metres. Some great athletes have won this meet, by the way. Jenny Simpson back in 2014. Nelly Chipkowski last year. Nozomi Tanaka is the young woman to watch in this one. Still only 20. World Junior Champion, Asian Junior Champion. National record holder over the 3,000 metres. Can she do the business here over the 1500? She's looking for 4:06. Ran Urabi as well goes in this one, fourth in the Asian Championships last year. She set a 3,000 metre PB in July and grew up just a few K from the stadium. Once again, we've got a collection of high school athletes here competing as part of that Dream Lane program. So in terms of the national record, we're looking for around about 4:06. That's Helena Kari Loban, the Kenyan, fifth in the World Juniors a couple of years ago. Hagitana, 19 years of age, she's in good form, a couple of PBs. Hashimoto, ninth in the national champs last year. Ran Urabe. She grew up very close to this stadium. Inochi, 4 times a national champion. Yoshikawa, she's a 70-minute half marathon runner. Excellent win just at the start of this year. Nozomi Tanaka. And that's Runa Nasaku. She too is in personal best shape, but she's in 4:22 territory. Tanaka says she is desperate to break the national record. World junior champion, Asian junior champion. Well, how well will the young 20-year-old Japanese woman go here? We can expect some decent running from the 21-year-old Kenyan, who's on the outside. But Nozomi Tanaka taking up the early running. Ran Arabi is on the inside in third place. We'll keep a very close eye on the clock here. She's certainly running quickly and aggressively here. Fascinating to see whether she can keep it going. Just around about, what was it, high 49s, low 50s at 300 meters. And these four with a big gap on the rest of the field. Look at the acceleration as she goes through 400 meters in 66.4. Tiny figure, Nozomi Tanaka. She's one of the lucky ones to have gone over to New Zealand and competed there. Good runs in Hamilton and Auckland. Only just turned 20. She is the full package, and look how quickly she split that field. The first four, some, what would you say, 30-odd meters ahead of the chase group. Single file now as they come round with 2 laps to go. Tanaki leading. Loban, the 21-year-old Kenyan, not too far behind. Very, very good athlete, Loban. African junior cross-country bronze medalist 2 years ago. She is in PB shape with an 8:43 and a 15:03, 3,000, 5,000 double. 2:11. That's really good running from Tanaka because she'd gone through the first lap in around 66 plus change, and she's beginning to pull away here. Only Ran Arabi, the experienced older Japanese woman, able to go with her. She set a 3,000 meter PB earlier this year. Loban, the Kenyan, is beginning to struggle here. So 4:06. That's the national record. So it will come down to Tanaka or Ran Arabi. Really good running here, 3:02. Look at the acceleration again. She just has this quite distinctive forward lean. And you can tell by her cadence, she's really beginning to put Arabi, the 25-year-old, under massive pressure there. Bidding for this national record. Watch the clock, it's 4:06, the time we're looking for. She was interviewed at the press conference and said she really thought she could do some damage here. Absolutely streaking away from the field. What a brilliant run this is. She's having a look up on the scoreboard. She needn't worry about Arabi. She's miles clear. What an excellent run this is. Edging closer. Arabi's tying up in second place. She's looking for 4:06. I think she's going to do this. Very close. Yes! A new national record for Nozomi Tanaki. She said she was up for it, and she's delivered brilliantly. How about that? What a run. That is an excellent performance. And you can only wonder how well she'd have run if there'd been someone to challenge her towards the business end of that race. Fantastic acceleration over the last 400. Well done to the 20-year-old. Another national record to add to her collection. And that one had stood for almost 15 years. Nozomi Tanaka in the form of her life. And by the way, Ran Arabi is a really high-quality athlete, and she was left trailing in her wake, as was the rest of the field. No sign of slowing down whatsoever. She went straight to the front right at the start of the race. Such was the level of her confidence. That was a really good piece of front running. She is a sizable talent on a small frame, and we'll see a lot more from her in the future. Of that, you can be sure. 4:05.27, national record. To the start and the introduction of the athletes for the women's javelin. Haruka Kitaguchi, arguably the biggest name here. She said herself in the pre-meet press conference, she's not quite in 66-meter shape at the moment, but she's edging her way back. As ever, we've got three of the Dream Lane athletes, Terada, Tsukunaga and Ueda. Miyashita, twice a national champion, and Yuka Sato, a useful performer as well. Seito then. Personal best just over 62 meters. World Student Games silver medalist 3 years ago, and went out in qualifying in London at the World Champs. Can't believe that was 3 years ago. London, such a good edition of the World Championships. Just over the 55-meter line. Will be a season's best then for Seito. Previous best effort this year, around about 54.5, but some way shy of her PB. Solid start. Still buzzing after that national record. That really was brilliant. Now, Yuka Sato. She threw over 60 meters in South Africa in February. Asian Championship bronze medal back in 2011. Now, can she edge towards the 60-meter line here in the early stages? No. Around about the same as Seito. Just over 55 meters. 28 years of age. Well, wherever you're watching this in the world, I hope you're enjoying being able to view world-class athletics again. Haruka Kitaguchi. Her local track reopened in June. She says she's added 2 steps to the forward phase of her run-up. World Youth Champion 5 years ago. Powerful performer. Getting herself pumped up here. Looking for an impressive start to this competition. Kitaguchi then, the 22-year-old. Oh dear. Oh, she will not be pleased with that. Just struggling to put this together. More elevation than distance. Still to come, by the way, we've got a brilliant men's 200 meters, just over 50 meters. She's capable of a lot more. A couple of very good sprint hurdles. Confirmation of that national record. Nozomi Tanaka more than 6 seconds ahead of Ran Urabi, who was also rewarded with a PB. So too Hagatini. Performance of the day so far, without a doubt. Yamakawa looking to get somewhere close to that personal best from 3 years ago of 8:06. He's gone mid-sevens. The former Asian indoor finalist. No. So difficult, I think, with these athletes, men and women, in events that require such rhythm, because they've had so few opportunities to compete amongst their peers, let alone internationally. Men's 200 meters to come. I mentioned the sprint hurdles, and we've also got the final of the men's 100 meters. 10:09 by Kurui, with Cambridge just behind him. What was he, 10:11? I wonder if we could see something very special. Hibiki Shua, second place overall, only 22 years of age. He underperformed at the World Youth and World Juniors. Low sevens at the World Youth and 770s at the World Juniors. He's obviously a young man with immense talent. It's there or thereabouts, perhaps a marginal improvement on his earlier effort. Look reasonable on the board. $760s maybe, low 770s. $755, no improvement for him, he stays in second. Now to the men's 200 meters. 20:03. Suetsuga with the national record. Mike Norman won this race in 19.84 last year. Watch for Izuka in 6, World Junior Champion a few years ago. And Fujimitsu just outside him in 7. Three athletes on the inside, Shimada, Kinoshita and Yasuda are the high school athletes. There is Izuka. Brilliant relay runner, Olympic silver in Rio and a bronze in London 3 years ago. Individually, he's made the semis of the World Champs in Moscow, the baking heat 2013, and again in London. 20.7 his season's best, but at his very best, he's a 21-1 man. And he'll have Kenji Fujimitsu to chase in the lane outside him. Teammate en route to that World Championship bronze 3 years ago. It's one of the high school athletes on the inside. He's quite a talent, you know, 10.55. He's only 17. 21:03 over the 200 meters. Shota Izuka, Olympic and World Championship relay medalist. National record holder as well, but watch for the man outside him as well, Kenji Fujimitsu. Right from the outside, Shota Hara. Powerful looking man, 5th in the Asian Games 6 years ago. 20.33 4 years ago. Inside 21 seconds will be good for him this year. Yoshihiro Someya, Chuo University. He's part of their great sprint squad. Kenji Fujimitsu with the shades. Asian Games silver medalist 2 years ago. Sweltering in Jakarta, I was there. Shota Izuka then. Former world junior champion, multiple relay medalist on the global stage. Kirara Shireishi, another bronze medalist in the relays. His was last year, breakthrough season 12 months ago. Yun Shamashita, it's his birthday today. World junior silver in the relays. Made the final individually over 200. And then Yasuda, who went to the world juniors in the relay 2 years ago. It'll be Yuki Kinoshita inside him. He had some experience racing in the United States 2 years ago. And on the inside, Keishin Shimada, 10.55 100-meter runner, yet to break 21 seconds over the half-lap sprint. Okay, so Shimada, Kinoshita, Yasuda, Yamashita, Shireishi, Izuka, Fujimitsu, Someya, and Hara. The two men to watch, there's Izuka in lane 6, so he'll be 4th from the outside as we look. And Fujimitsu just outside him, the 34-year-old, hoping to turn back the clock in style. That's Shimada on the inside, one of the 3 high school athletes. Some great men have come here and won this race. See how Ishida goes in 6. So Ishida, 4th from the outside. That's disappointing for Fujimitsu. He's pulled out. Pulled up straight away, actually. Shireishi trying to put Izuka under a little bit of pressure. And now Izuka beginning to pull away. That's a good run. And so too on the outside, Shota Hara. He's disappointed with the time, you can tell by the look in his face, but I wonder whether he was just disrupted a fraction by Fujimitsu pulling up. Watch 3rd from the left. He obviously had a problem right at the start, didn't pull his hamstring, but he could tell something wasn't quite right. Good bend by Yamashita, who was trying to put Shota Izuka under a little bit of pressure. Izuka began to pull away. And a good finish on the outside from Hara. A dip on the line with Someya, the athletes in 8 and 9. Rounded down to 20.74. He's capable of a lot more, but it has been a funny start to the year. Still an hour or so to go here in Tokyo. Hope you're enjoying our coverage. Women's 100-meter final to come, the 2 sprint hurdles, and the men's 100-meter final. Cannot wait to see how close Karui and Cambridge and the best of the rest can get to that 10-second barrier. They looked really up for it. And, lest we forget, we've had that fabulous national record from Nozomi Tanaka in the women's 1,500 meters. Now then, Shirayama, we're edging towards the business end here, and he's struggling to put this together. Couple of mid-7s. Pretty modest season's best of 7.90. See if he can get close to that here. It is deceptively sticky here. 30 degrees at the moment. And thankfully, touchwood, no sign of those thunderstorms just yet. Looked better. Still not quite clicking. Big shoulders. This 25-year-old. Imagine the noise if he makes the final next year for the Olympic Games. My goodness me, it will be passionately supported. Well, it's an improvement, and he moves up to 2nd place with his penultimate jump there. 7.71. Looking forward to the marathon as well next year. Japan's such a rich history and an in-depth understanding of the event. Daika Oda. He jumped 7.69 in California in February, the 24-year-old. He is an 8-meter man at his very best. That was 13 months ago. Went to the World Youth Championships back in 2013, so he's been towards the top end of Japanese athletics over the last 7 or 8 years. Just a loose smattering of spectators and coaches allowed in the arena. The obvious restrictions at the moment. Well, that's an improvement by a couple of centimetres. A very solid card after a couple of early failures. Outside the top 3 though at the moment. Dance music pumping here in the stadium. Natsuki Yamakawa. Waving to his coach. He looks pretty relaxed. Asian Indoor Championship finalist. Best effort, that's 7.62 in the second round. Very aggressive on the in-run. Let's watch for the takeoff. Well, that looked better. Oh, he got the red flag. Be interested to see that one back. That would have been a sizable season's best, by the way. Yeah, disappointment for him there. Shota Izuka taking the men's 200 meters, the official confirmation, 20.74. 3 other men inside 21 seconds, but Izuka was in a class of his own. Now to the final of the women's 100 meters. That's a shame. We had a funny feeling that Amy Sato may be a non-starter, national junior record holder, so lane 6 is empty. But Aoyama in 4, Mikasa in 5, and Kodama on the outside could be among those to feature here in this women's 100 meters. Hashioka, 8th in last year's World Championships. In the lead at the moment. Now, can we get an 8-meter jump going here? He's only 4 centimeters shy, but he's had quite a strange, inconsistent card. Such a talent, this young guy. And obviously a big stage performer. Asian champion, world junior champion. Puts it together when he needs to. It was over 8 meters, but he was just foul on the board. So the women getting themselves ready. No lane 6. Amy Sato pulling out. Midori Mikasi, 5th in the Asian Games last year. There she is. She goes in lane 5, wearing number 1. Still only a teenager. 11.46 was set in Sapporo last September. She did well making that Asian Games final. I was in Jakarta commentating. It was really tough standard at the Asian Games. Hane Aoyama, tall figure. She's in lane 4. Watch for Mei Kodama on the outside, just on the very left of picture as well. 3rd in the Asian Junior Championships a couple of years ago. She's in good form. Miyago Sagi, 5th in the National Youth Champs last year. Nervous moments for her. The rest of these high school athletes. She's on the far right-hand side. Dream Lane High Schooler, mixing it with some of her quicker compatriots. Remy Schruter, 11:71 earlier this month. Seiko Kageyama, only 18 years of age. And now we get to the fancied contenders, the tall figure of Hane Oyama, second in the Asian Youth Championships last year. Then arguably the favourite, Midori Mikasa, national junior record last year, Asian Games finalist. 6 is empty, no Sato, which is a shame, so we move across to Kanako Yuasa, World University Games relay runner. Hina Ishido. She's running into some decent form, actually. Mid-11s, watch out for her. She's second from the outside. And Mei Kadama, third in the Asian Junior Championships, and she too is in good form. She might fancy this on the outside.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our women's 100.
Favourite, though, will be Midori Mikasa, who will be in the centre of your picture with the lane outside her empty. There she is. Watch for Kadama on the far outside, and that's Aoyama, 17 years of age, very tall figure. She'll be on the favourites inside. Women's 100 metres here in the Japan National Stadium in Tokyo. Mikasa the favourite in 5. Good start from Mikasa, and also good running from some of the high school athletes. Shiruta, second from the right-hand side, going well, and the favourite's been swallowed up here. Excellent run on the near side. Mei Kadama coming into some form here. Well, as Mikasa faded, Shiruta ran really well in lane 2, but what a fabulous end to that race by Mei Kadama. She came through beautifully in lane 9. Waiting for the official confirmation. And now the smiles. So watch Mikasa, she's in the centre. It's a reasonable start. The athlete second from the right-hand side begins to pull away. That's Shiruta, the 23-year-old. And watch on the near side. Bathed in the afternoon sunshine. That was an excellent finish from Kadama, it really was. 11.62. I think that might be a PB. I make that a personal best by 300ths, and she deserved it. So a couple of really intriguing victories this afternoon. That standout performance in the women's 1500 metres, Nozomi Tanaka. A national record here in the National Stadium. Still waiting for the climax of the afternoon, that men's 100 metres final, as we return our attention to the business end of the men's long jump. Kota Minimura. Very consistent card. Yet to go over 750. Personal best set in the United States, 795. That was 4 years ago. He's 27 years of age now. He has gone over 8 metres, but remember I was telling you earlier, it was ever so slightly windy. No improvement there. I always feel so sorry for athletes if their PB is plus 2.1, just the tiniest fraction illegal. There obviously has to be a cut-off somewhere along the line, but always hard luck if it's only just over the legal line. So not quite at his best today, but I think the same could be said for quite a few of the men in this long jump competition. It's just lacked just a shade of intensity. Well, we're rattling through the programme. It's our Seiko Golden Grand Prix 2020 Tokyo. Part of a great series of one-day meets. 7:12, no improvement there. He stays in 6th. No. Under 7 meters. I don't think he'll be too worried about having that measured. A strange card for Tanaka. Now, Shirayama, national record holder. He's been taking a long time to kickstart his efforts. 2nd place overall. Hashioka has the lead at the moment with 7.96. Can the World Junior bronze medalist from 6 years ago find a big one here at the end of the competition? So quiet, you can even hear his spikes in the track. And the whir of the photographers trying to capture the all-important image. It just hasn't quite worked for Shutaru Shirayama this afternoon. Nowhere near that monstrous 8:40 national record. Sun coming out now, dispelling the clouds. .757, so no improvement on his best effort so far. Giving himself a little talking to. Taki Oda. 770 in California earlier this year. Yet to get over 760 here. Well, a solid rather than spectacular effort. Really enjoying this Continental Tour event. World Athletics, as they are now known, doing a fantastic job to create a series of one-day meetings. We're ranked gold, silver and bronze, depending on how much prize money is available. More than $200,000 is gold, and that's why Tokyo qualifies for that. A pathway for athletes into major championships. That's a little better, adding 3 centimeters to his tally. The idea is that these meets create an international one-day meeting requiring significant input, energy and resources from World Athletics. There are more than 100 of these across the entire season. And the Seiko Golden Grand Prix 2020 Tokyo, one of the very best. Yamakawa then, still ranked outside the top 4. He'll be disappointed with that because he had the distance. This is the same pattern we saw with his previous effort. That would have been a good jump. So the latest Continental Tour event unfolding here with that national record in the women's 15. Just to mark your card, we'll be bringing you the middle part of the women's javelin, the 2 sprint hurdles, and then we'll finish off with that men's 100-meter final. So to the top 3 then. Shua, Ibiki Shua. World Youth and World Junior experience. 7.63 with his opener. Bit of dance music pumping in the background to make up for the lack of crowd. .47 4 years ago over the flat 100. He looks like he'd go well indoors over 60, doesn't he? He's a small, compact, excellent looking runner. Oh, lovely spring in his legs, looking for the white flag. That looked good. Tremendous power in the legs, considering he's not the tallest figure in the competition. Lying in 3rd coming into this last round. I think he might have improved that distance. Yeah, 7.76. 2nd place. That was an excellent jump from the youngster. So we've just seen Shua improve with his final effort. Hashioka, he is the leader. Can he treat us to an 8-meter jump here at the end of this competition? Mentioned earlier, his dad is a brilliant pole vaulter. His mum, a double national champion over the sprint hurdles. Athletics runs in the family for Yuki Hashioka. Top 8 in the World Championships last year. He's an 8:32 man at his best. Let's see if we can finish this competition in style. No, he's walking away from that one immediately. He knows there's no improvement on that jump of 7.96, but it has been a winning competition for him in Tokyo this afternoon. Bathed in sunshine, he looks a little underwhelmed by the achievement. Oh, now there's a wry smile on his face. Getting pretty warm here now, actually. 7.80, no improvement. A mixed card, actually. Megadami came through on the outside. Shiruta was 2nd. The favourite way down in 7th, 12.01, Mikasa. Shunya Takayama. National record 13.25 in the men's 110-meter high hurdles. And Takayama goes in lane 5 here with Talo Kanai just outside him. Some fine hurdlers from Japan, especially over the 400-meter hurdles. Once again, we have our 3 Dream Lane athletes, Toyoda, Murataki and Kuriki. Takayama, the man to watch in lane 5. 4th in the Asian Championships last year. Asian Games bronze in Jakarta 2 years ago. Tense moments for the youngsters, getting a taste of the big time. If you're just joining us, it's because the All Japan High School Sport Games was cancelled because of COVID, so the powers that be in Japanese athletics decided to give an opportunity to a select number of promising youngsters, 28 in total. And what an opportunity. 250 applied, and fewer than 30 coming here to be part of this great festival, this long road to recovery being spearheaded by the JAAF Guidance for Restarting Athletics Activities Programme. We're just delighted to have the sport back on the road and back on the big screen. Ken Toyoda then, just 17 years of age, hasn't broken 14 seconds yet. Toyoda trying to keep himself composed and focused and calm. Rashido Murataki, 18 years of age. He has broken 14 seconds, 13.78. Anthony Kuriki, 50.4 a few years ago over the 400 hurdles, got good strength. Shui Ishikawa, he's in good form actually, ran well in Auckland in February. 13.49 is PB. Shunyi Takayama, national record holder, Asian Games bronze medalist. He goes in 5. Taiyo Kanai ran in Doha last year, knocked out in the heats, but he made the Asian Games final the year before that. Higashi Ishida Thomas, second in the National Indoor Championships. He looks pretty relaxed, doesn't he? 13.45 last year. And Wataru Yazawa, Asian Championship bronze medalist 7 years ago, 29 years of age now. And right on the outside, the 24-year-old Ryota Fuji. He's run 13.96 this month. Men's 110-meter high hurdles. Takayama the favourite in 5, but watch for Kanai. One lane nearer the camera, wearing 56. And Ishikawa on the lane inside Takayama, in form and travelled well to Tokyo. That's Toyoda on the inside, one of the Dream Lane High School athletes. Men's 110-meter high hurdles. Takayama the favourite in 5.
Set.
Now, who was that? I had a little look at Takayama. He holds his arms very wide, almost filling the entire lane. And he was the first of all the athletes to turn. Tension mounts here in the Japan National Stadium in Tokyo. Was it Ishikawa who just moved a fraction? 4th from the right-hand side, the lane inside Takayama. You would hope, just to the naked eye, I haven't got the information here about the official times. Yeah, it just looked like he wobbled. I wondered whether they might opt for a faulty rather than a false start. It was barely discernible to the naked eye. Watch, 4th from the right-hand side. Yeah, it's pretty tight, but the camera doesn't lie. He was the first to move. And that's a shame because he's been in good form. They're actually showing it to him now. It did look marginal, but you could tell he was the first to go. He looks as though he's responding very politely, but he will take no further part in the race. Well, if their nerves were jangling before that, what must they be feeling now? So, Shui Ishikawa gone in lane 4. That means Shunya Takayama, the national record holder, in 5, will have the lane beside him empty. Showed his experience. He didn't even clear the first barrier. He turned immediately, as if he instinctively knew. There is Toyoda on the inside. That's a shame for Ishikawa, because he has been in good form. Nonetheless, rules are rules. So, Toyoda, Murataki, Kuruki, 4 is empty. Takayama there, the favourite, in 5. Kanai in 6. Ishida Thomas in 7. Yazawa in 8. And Fuji on the outside in lane 9. They settle into their blocks for the second time of asking.
Set.
It was a little bit wobbly from 1 or 2 once again. Kanai, by the way, is putting Takayama under massive pressure here. What a good run. Going well is Murataki in lane 2 as well. But Kanai is going to take this one. 13.46, and Murataki did come through for second place. Takayama was unsettled early on and couldn't find a way back in. He got tight, he got tense, and his aspirations of winning here in the Olympic Stadium were over. Good run that from Teo Kanai. He is a class performer. Went well in Doha last year in the heats. That's Toyoda. Watch second from the right-hand side. He got away well, the 18-year-old Murataki. But coming through the centre, Kanai putting Takayama under pressure. And the favourite fading there. Tension in the shoulders, rocking and rolling a little bit, clips those last 2 barriers. Fine win that for Kanai, it really was. He wasn't too far away from his lifetime best. 13.45, that's a good run. Ori Ushiro. 55 metres she threw in Wellington in New Zealand and in Sydney. Went on her travels in February. Some way short of that 55-metre line. Hope you're enjoying our coverage of the Seiko Gold Grand Prix 2020 Tokyo. Continental Tour Gold event. Trying to give as many athletes around the world as many opportunities as possible to compete in an international class competition. Natsumi Terada. She's only 18. National Youth Champion last year. Big roar. Solid effort from the youngster. And lying in 8th place, looking to improve on that 50-metre throw. PB 52.5. Really aggressive there, gives it a big roar. No, that will not improve on her best effort so far. A little bow from her. Her competition is over. Another one of the Dream Lane athletes. 28, remember, selected from a field of 250 who applied for the right to come and be part of this Continental Tour Gold event. Kitaguchi then. Magnificent national record last year. Yet to go over 60. She is in first place. You'd expect that. Good effort there, but a little bit frustrated so far. Can she finish with a 60-metre throw? She's a former world youth champion. She's finished in the top 8 at the World Juniors. She has said she's not in national record shape at the moment. She's just working her way back. No, that won't be any improvement. Looks a little disappointed with her afternoon here in Tokyo in the ever more sticky conditions. Athletes trying to salvage something from their season. The Diamond League meets have resumed. A couple of intriguing races and events to come. Most notably Stockholm. Looking forward to that one. So, not quite over 60 meters for Haruka Kitaguchi. Hitomo Tsukunaga. 6th in the national championships 2 years ago. 58 meters at her best. That was back in 2015. So the back end of this javelin competition just coming to a conclusion. No improvement with that last round. Momone Ueda, 6th overall, just over 55 meters. Still only 21 years of age. PB in the 57-meter range. Pretty consistent. By the way, the lists have just come out for the men's 100-meter final. Really looking forward to this one. Cambridge and Kirui in adjacent lanes. 5 and 6. Slight improvement there with Ueda's last effort. Elisa Miyashita, twice a national champion, 36 years of age now. Asian Championship bronze medalist twice, 2013 and 2015. Can she put Kitaguchi under a little bit of pressure here with her final effort? No, not with that one, she can't. So her best effort remains that 57.51. Now the penultimate track event, women's 100-meter hurdles. What a list of women have won this race over the years. Sharika Nelvis, Queen Clay, Sally Pearson, Olympic champion, Lolo Jones. High school athletes once again on the inside in lanes 1, 2 and 3. Favourite for this one will be Asuka Terada. She goes in lane 5. Terada's got an interesting history. First Japanese woman to break 13 seconds, but we'll get to her in just a moment. That's Ayaka Ito. national youth champion last year.
In lane 1, we have
She's been running well this year, the youngster. She's only 18. She had a couple of wins in July and one victory earlier this month, but this is a different level to that which she's been performing on up to now. Miho Suzuki, 12:24 flat PB over the 100 meters. Yumi Tanaka, semi-finalist at the World Youth a few years ago and the World Juniors. So difficult to even qualify for those events, so she's a good runner. Hitomi Shimura, twice a national champion, PB indoors over in the USA and twice fifth in the Asian Championships. Here's the rock star Asuka Terada, semi-finalist in the World Juniors in 2008, national junior record holder, and then disappeared to rugby. She's come back to athletics. Chisato Kiyoyama, 13.13. Masumi Aoka, third in the Asian Championships. She's also run the World Relays, got a silver last year in the shuttle hurdles. Nana Fujimura, World Youth Medley bronze medalist 7 years ago, and Meiko Fukubi, Asian Junior champion 6 years ago. Good athlete. Well, what a fascinating athlete Asuka Terada is in lane 5. Retired from athletics back in 2013. That's one of the Dream Lane athletes, just on the inside. Plenty of support for all the athletes, but being done virtually or remotely. Now, Terada's come back to athletics, first Japanese woman to break 13 seconds. That's the Dream Lane athlete, Ayako Ito. She's on the inside. There's the favourite, Terada, the first Japanese woman inside 13 seconds. Back to athletics from rugby. Let's hope she's here to stay. Ooh, now just as we had with the men's 110 hurdles, we've got a wobbly moment here. We ended up losing the athlete in lane 4. It was Shui Ishikawa. And they're being quite firm here because it looked fairly marginal. Was it the same lane? Was it Shimura, fourth from the right-hand side? Meanwhile, let's just quickly mop up the back end of the women's javelin. Seito, World Student Games silver medalist 3 years ago. Just off the podium in Jakarta 2 years ago in the Asian Games. Disappointed with that one. Small, powerful, compact athlete. No word yet of any disqualifications in the women's 100-meter hurdles. We will get back to that as soon as we can. Was there a little bit of movement from the athlete in lane 4? We'll find out shortly. Her best effort remains 58.64, so second place for Seito. Back with the 100-meter hurdles. No disqualifications. It was a faulty rather than a false start. Watch for Terada then. She's in the centre of your picture in lane 5. The former rugby player now coming back to athletics, and she's running really well here. Beginning to come under a little bit of pressure. She takes it. Good run in the end by Masumi Aoka, who came through in lane 7. She was away and clear, Asuka Terada, and then began to feel a little bit of pressure from the woman 2 lanes outside her. Well, let's hope she is here to stay. She's decided to fully focus on athletics once again. She knows she'll need to find another couple of tenths from 12.97, but good to have her back in athletics once again. Good run. Yuka Sato. Asian Championship bronze medalist, remember, a long time ago. Interesting press conference yesterday ahead of the meet. Haruka Kitaguchi was saying that she was really keen to come and compete here, even though she wasn't at her best, because she just wanted to see how the wind felt and which direction it came from in the stadium, the Japan National Stadium in Tokyo, which we all hope will be hosting the athletics next year for the Summer Games. Good effort from Yuka Sato at the end. Third place for her. Just watching her effort and having a chat with one or two of her friends and compatriots. Uri Ushiro, 29 years of age. Just a shade shy of 60 meters at her very best. That was last May in Osaka. She's gone 55s in both Wellington and Sydney this year. No. No improvement for her there. Edging towards the business end of this Continental Tour event. Gold status. I've been sent the lane lineup by WhatsApp for the final of the men's 100 meters. Such is the way of the world. Her best effort was her first, just putting her in 6th place so far. Cambridge and Kurui in adjacent lanes in that men's 100 meters. Good run from Terada in that women's 100-meter hurdles. Still waiting for the official confirmation. Haruka Kitaguchi, she's taken the win just inside 60 meters. A long way shy of her 66-meter best, but we knew that, and she spoke about it in the press conference. She seems to be happy to be competing again, and good to see her with a smile on her face as she adapts to her new run-up, adding 2 phases to the forward, 2 steps rather, to the forward phase. Confirmation, Teo Kanai took the men's 110-meter hurdles. Rashid Murataki came through for 2nd and was rewarded with a lifetime best. So too was Toyota, down in 7th in 14.15. He was one of the Dream Lane athletes. Ishikawa disqualified. It was marginal, but he did move first. Chance to have another look at Terada, finishing well, but she was coming under a touch of pressure from Aoki on the outside. Hoping to make an impact on the international stage next year, just getting to grips with athletics again, 12 years after she made the semis of the World Juniors. Asuka Terada taking that one. Good time as well, just outside 13, and Aoki, coming through in lane 7, was rewarded with a PB. She was closing on Terada towards the end of the race as well. It was a good run. Kiyoyama completing the top 3 inside 13.2. Yuki Hashioka took the men's long jump title. Nobody over 8 meters. He was comfortably clear of Shua, and Shirayama a little bit out of sorts down in 3rd, the Japanese national record holder. Haruka Kitaguchi, just shy of 60 meters. She's taken that javelin competition. Marina Sato was 2nd. Yuka Sato in 3rd, just ahead of Miyashita, who had a season's best with 4th. Well, we're edging towards the climax here in Japan. The men's 100 meters, we had a 10.09 by Kurui in the first of our, or third of our heats. By far the most impressive run of the 3 heats. There he is. Silver in the relay in 2016. Bronze medals in the relay in London and in Doha. The Japanese quartet are so well drilled. Poetry in motion. Not the quickest individually, but collectively they are brilliant. Well, Asker Cambridge said he reckons he's in PB shape. Well, he might have to be if he's going to beat Kurui. Climax of the afternoon. Really hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the Seiko Golden Grand Prix 2020 Tokyo. Cambridge in 5, Kurui in 6. Watch out as well for Koike in lane 8. But Kurui looked so good in qualification. How close can he get to the 10-second mark? Wearing number 1, Yoshide Kurui, the first Japanese man in history to break 10 seconds. He looked really, really comfortable with 10:09 in the heats at the start of our afternoon coverage. But Asuka Cambridge wasn't too far behind him. And they're drawn in adjacent lanes. The national champion from 2016, relay silver, anchor leg for them in Rio. Stunning performance from the Japanese quartet, it really was. He knows he might have to break his PB if he is to take this race and this title. Koike, middle of your picture there. Another sub 10-second performer. And I wonder whether it'll help him actually just being drawn away from the other two. Third Japanese man to break 10 seconds. Graduate of Keio University. Shuitada right on the outside. 10:07 his PB. Dream Lane athletes drawn on the inside. What an experience for them. This will be absolutely superb. So, Kurui will be the favourite for this one in lane 6. He just looks so comfortable with 10:09. But Asuka Cambridge, his fellow relay medalist from Rio, there he is. Will fancy that he can put his teammate and his countryman under some pressure. He also looked good, but was just a couple of hundredths behind his compatriot in the heats. It'll be Kawata on the inside, then Yamagita, Takeda in 3, Higashida in 4, Cambridge and Kurui the favourites in 5 and 6, Iwasaki in 7, Koike in 8, and Tada will be nearest the camera with a PB of 10:07. But there's the favourite. How fast are we going to see these guys run? Just checking out the list of winners of this event in recent years. Justin Gatlin has won the last 4, the quickest of his victorious times, 10 seconds on the nose just last year. There's Cambridge. He really fancies this. Born in Jamaica. Studied literature and science at Nihon University. They call him the Japanese Bolt. So, Kosuke Kawata on the inside. What an opportunity for the Dream Lane youngster. Came through qualification in fine style to come and mix it with the big boys in the final. Yeah, a little fist pump, why not? Yanagita, very, very quick for 17, 10.27, fantastic times. Ippy Takeda, 10.25. He's going to be coming under significant pressure. Higashida, third in the University Championships 2 years ago. Olympic relay silver World Championship relay bronze, Asuka Cambridge. Can he get close to that PB of 10:08? Yoshihide Kirui, one of only 3 Japanese men to have broken 10 seconds. How close can he go this afternoon? Kotarui Iwasaki, 10.31. He may well need to improve on that to get in the shake-up. Yuki Koike, another one of these sub-10 second performers. What a talent. Multiple times inside 10 seconds. Shuitada. Well, if he can get close to 10.07, maybe he can get in the shake-up. Climax of the afternoon here. This Continental Tour Gold Label event, finishing with a flourish. Kawata, Yamagita, Takeda, Higashida, Cambridge, Kirui, Iwasaki, Koike, Tada. This was always going to be one of the standout events. 5 men of the top 10 Asian performers. Cambridge on the right, the Japanese bolt, Kirui on the left, in 5 and 6. This could be very fast. Well, it's a good start from Asuka Cambridge, but he's yet to get away from this field. It's pretty tight here. They're getting tense. Kirui is just shading it. Let's watch the clock. 10.15, not as quick as the heat. Perhaps a little more tension in those powerful shoulders. Cambridge thought he might have taken that one, but Kirui came through well. The relay silver medalist from Rio 4 years ago, wearing number 1, and today he was number 1. Well, it wasn't the fireworks we were expecting from the clock, but it was a good win in the end, and Cambridge was away and clear of the rest in second. Fairly even Stevens early on. Disappointing run from Koike. He was a long way shy of his best, second from the left-hand side. Now Kirui just beginning to pull away. Cambridge went with him, and those two were a long way clear of the rest. Good run from Higashida, third in his university championships 2 years ago. The athlete in lane 4, straining every sinew to come home for third. He did well, Kirui. He just didn't feel as fluent as his fabulous run in the heats. I mean, he made that 10.09 look really easy. I thought he would be very close to the 10-second barrier, bearing in mind how easy and good value he looked for that 10.09. But it's not always about the times. You've got to get the win, and there were some major Japanese bragging rights on the line in this race. It's an absolute who's who of their number 1 sprinters, and he's doing interviews for the small number of assembled people in the stadium. It looks absolutely magnificent, doesn't it? We really, really hope our wonderful sport gets a chance to bask in the global spotlight next year. Kirui taking it then by 200ths. They were a long way clear of Takeda, who actually outdipped Higashida on the line by a single 100th. Koike will be disappointed with 10.53, down in 8th. Well, that just about wraps things up. I think we might get a chance to see 1 or 2 of our earlier golden moments back. Not perhaps the time that Kirui was expecting, but a good run nonetheless, taking it from his teammate by 2/100ths of a second. To be honest, it's just nice to be watching great athletics again. Boy, oh boy, have we missed this sport over the last few months. Empty stadium, not ideal for the athletes, but they'd rather be here competing than not at all. What an opportunity it's been for the Dream Lane athletes. If you're just joining us, the All Japan High School Sport Games, or the Inter-Highs, were cancelled because of COVID-19. So a group of Japanese coaches and athletes got together and selected 28 from a list of 250 to come along and be a part of this great festival of athletics. Going off for a few interviews there. Kurui. Well, we were a bit worried about the thunderstorms, but none have been forthcoming. Lovely clear afternoon. Very sticky though, close to 30 degrees. I wonder how big a part the humidity will play, assuming we do get the games next year. The marathon, remember, has been moved to quite a long way north of Tokyo to try and combat the stifling heat. I can remember well the Osaka men's marathon in 2007 at the World Champs. Luke Kibet, Kenyan, won the world title in something like 2:16. It was absolutely brutal. We're all set for a fabulous spectacle of athletics here in Tokyo next year, and that hopefully has just whetted our appetites for what's to come. Stadium looks cracking, doesn't it? The season has been late to get started, but we're enjoying every single second of our sport once again being in the spotlight. One of my highlights today, if you missed it earlier, Nozomi Tanaka, the brilliant world junior champion and Asian junior champion over 3,000 meters. 3,000 meter national record last month, added the 1,500 national record to her collection. Earlier today, a solo run of, what was it, 4:05 plus change? Absolutely superb. Her dad is coach to the Toyota Industry Track Club, and her mum is a two-time Hokkaido Marathon champion. Well, once she learns a few tactics and once she gets pressure from one or two around her, you could see that time coming down somewhere close to 4 minutes in a couple of years' time. She is only just 20. Ran 15 minutes on the nose. Nozomi Tanaka in the 5,000 meters last year in Doha. Not a bad time. She was still a teenager then. Cracking runner. And a mark of how good that run was, Ran Urabi, the 25-year-old from Japan, was miles behind her in 4:11 in what was a PB for her. She was streaking away from the field on the last lap. And I can't wait to see her mixing it in a field with a whole host of world-class Europeans, Americans and East Africans. I think she can run a lot faster than 4:05. Fabulous national record. Arguably the pick of the day's performances, possibly along with Kurui and Cambridge in the heats rather than the final. Kurui running 10:09 and he was virtually jogging across the line. Very, very impressive indeed. Thanks for keeping us company. We've really enjoyed this Seiko Gold Grand Prix 2020 Tokyo. We're just waiting for a compilation of the highlights to round off our afternoon in the sunshine. Plenty of world-class athletics still to come on the Continental Tour, laid out by World Athletics as a pathway for international athletes to get to grips with the sport at the highest level before taking part in their maiden major championships. Gold, silver and bronze, this one very definitely gold. Prize money of more than $200,000 on offer. Silver must exceed $75,000 and bronze 25. And across the year there are so many. I'm lucky enough to be going to Poland for another one of the events. just at the start of September. A couple of big meets back to back. That one in Poland, and then 2 days later it's Ostrava. What a great meet that is. Usain Bolt has lit up that track on numerous occasions. Some very fast 200-meter times by him there. But across the year, we'll have more than 100 Continental Tour meetings. And today was a very enjoyable offering. Japan National Stadium in Tokyo, delivering in style. Asuka Terada, good win for her in the women's 100-meter hurdles. I enjoyed that one. Just outside 13 seconds. First Japanese woman to break 13 though. She's run 12:97. And there was a PB for Masumi Aoka, who came through and 2 lanes outside Terada. Just put her under a little bit of pressure towards the end of that race. Third in the Asian Championships. But a very entertaining afternoon. Nozomi Tanaka was aiming for a national record in the women's 1500 meters, and she did not disappoint. What a performance. Streaking away from the field, 4:05, arguably the best performance of the day in Tokyo. Shota Izuka. Well, he lined up 4th from the outside and wasn't distracted when the man in the lane outside him had to pull up. It wasn't the quickest race, but after coming under a little bit of pressure round the bend, Izuka managed to pull away and showed his class in the last 50 metres for a comfortable victory in the end. Nice wave as well from the former World Junior Champion. A great race in the women's 100 metres. Watch for Kodama on the near side. She left it late, but came through really well. The favourite Mikasa was struggling. All smiles for the 21-year-old. The men's 110-metre hurdles. A really good run by the young man in lane 6. Competed in Doha last year, and he seems to have grown from that experience. Teo Kanai, Asian Junior Champion a few years ago. Ran really well. So too did Asuka Terada, the national record holder. Started in lane 5, came under a little bit of pressure by Aoka in the pale blue vest, but Terada, the former rugby player, held good for an excellent win. Once again, around the 13-second mark. Asuka Cambridge was trying to put pressure on his Olympic relay teammate, Yoshihide Kirui. Kirui, one of 3 Japanese men to have gone inside 10 seconds. It was a little bit tight in the early stages, but the man 4th from the outside, wearing number 1, was number 1. Those 2 were away and clear of the rest. Not as quick as they ran in the heats, but they got the job done come the final. Yep, number 1. Good run from the top 2 men, Hirui and Cambridge. Olympic relay silver 4 years ago, and let's hope they can put a good quartet together for next year. Yuki Hashioka, 8th in the World Championships last year. He was the main man as far as the long jump was concerned. Not to be over 8 metres, but he did go home with a valuable win here in the Continental Tour Gold event. Haruka Kitaguchi, national record holder in the javelin, told us in the pre-event press conference she wasn't in tip-top shape, but good enough to take the win. The plus 60-metre throws will come. So there are your highlights from a wonderful day in Tokyo. We've had a good time. My name's Rob Walker, and it's been fantastic to keep you company here. See you again next year, hopefully for the Olympic Games. Bye-bye.